Welcome back to Whispered Stories. Imagine inheriting an old lighthouse, standing alone by the sea, only to discover it holds whispers from the past. Sounds intriguing, right? In today's story, a woman uncovers a haunting secret about her own family, one that will change her life forever. As you listen, you'll not only enjoy a thrilling mystery, but also improve your English effortlessly. Pay attention to new words and expressions, and by the end of this story, you'll have learned something new without even realizing it. Stay till the end, because the final revelation will leave you speechless. Echoes of the lighthouse. The ocean stretched endlessly before me, its waves crashing against the jagged rocks below. The towering lighthouse stood tall against the sky, its paint peeling and windows clouded from years of neglect. I never imagined I would inherit such a place, but when my great-uncle Henry passed away, the lighthouse became mine. I was hesitant at first. The town of Westport was far removed from the busy city life I was accustomed to, but something about the lighthouse called to me. Maybe it was curiosity, or the longing for a fresh start. Regardless, I packed my bags and made the journey to the coast. From the moment I stepped inside, I felt an eerie presence. The air was thick with dust, and the scent of salt and old wood filled my lungs. I ran my fingers over the wooden banister as I ascended the spiral staircase. Each step creaked beneath my weight, echoing through the empty space. The rooms were filled with old furniture covered in white sheets, and cobwebs clung to every corner. It was as if time had frozen here, waiting for someone to return. That first night, as the wind howled outside, I heard it, the whispering. At first, I thought it was my imagination, a trick of the wind, perhaps. But as the days passed, the whispers grew more distinct. They were not random noises, but words, fragments of conversations. They spoke of the sea, of longing, of something lost. It was unsettling, yet strangely compelling. I found myself listening closely, trying to make sense of the voices that drifted through the halls. Determined to uncover the truth, I explored every corner of the lighthouse. In the basement, hidden beneath loose floorboards, I found an old wooden chest. Inside, there were letters, hundreds of them, yellowed with age. They were written by a woman named Eleanor to a man named James. Eleanor's words were filled with love and sorrow. She had lived in the lighthouse many years ago, waiting for James, a sailor who had promised to return to her. But he never did. Her final letter was different from the rest. It spoke of a storm, of desperation. And at the bottom of the letter, in faded ink, were the words, "I will wait forever." I felt a chill run through me as I realized Eleanor's spirit still lingered here, bound by her unfulfilled promise. That night, I climbed to the top of the lighthouse, carrying the final letter with me. The lantern room, though abandoned, still held an air of solemnity. I placed the letter on the old wooden desk and whispered, "He never meant to leave you. It's time to let go." The wind outside calmed, and for the first time since I arrived, the whispers ceased. The air felt lighter, as if a great weight had lifted. I knew then that Eleanor had finally found peace. In the following weeks, the lighthouse felt different, warmer, more inviting. I decided to restore it, to honor its history and those who had come before me. The cracked walls were repaired, the wooden floors polished, and the dust-ridden furniture was uncovered and cleaned. I hired workers to repaint the lighthouse, restoring its former brilliance. As I worked, I found myself growing attached to the place. The lighthouse had once been abandoned and forgotten, but now it was alive again. The whispers had faded, but the history remained, and I felt a sense of purpose in preserving its legacy. I spent evenings on the balcony, watching the sun set over the ocean, feeling at peace in a way I never had before. One night, as I sat by the window, a soft knock echoed through the empty halls. I hesitated before rising to open the door. To my surprise, an elderly man stood there, his eyes filled with emotion. "You must be the new keeper," he said, his voice trembling. "My name is Thomas. I knew Eleanor." I invited him inside, eager to hear his story. He spoke of his childhood, of how he had grown up in Westport, and often visited Eleanor at the lighthouse. "She was the kindest woman I ever knew," he said, his eyes glistening with tears. "She loved James more than anything. When he didn't return, she never gave up hope. Even as the years passed, she believed he would find his way back." I showed him the letters, and he ran his fingers over the delicate parchment with reverence. "James never abandoned her," he whispered. "He was lost at sea. No one had the heart to tell her." The revelation struck me deeply. Eleanor had spent her life waiting for a man who had perished long ago, never knowing the truth. She had written letters into the void, believing they would one day be answered. I led Thomas to the lantern room, where the final letter still rested. "She's at peace now," I told him. "She finally knows." He nodded, a faint smile on his lips. "Thank you," he said, "for helping her find her way home." As the days passed, I continued to restore the lighthouse, but I no longer felt alone. The echoes of the past had faded, replaced by a quiet sense of belonging. I realized then that the lighthouse was not just a place. It was a story, one that had waited to be told, and now it had found its ending. Years later, I still return to the lighthouse, tending to its light, ensuring it never fades. It stands as a beacon not just for sailors, but for those searching for something more. And in its quiet halls, I sometimes imagine I hear Eleanor's voice, not a whisper of sorrow, but a gentle sigh of relief. Finally free. And just like that, the echoes of the past finally revealed their truth. But some secrets never fade, do they? If this story kept you hooked, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more. Keep listening, keep learning, and I'll see you in the next story.